Hey y'all, so it's the end of the second week of classes. It was a better one than the first week. Most times it usually is, at least in my experiences. Um, the topic for today, well, for this particular video, is friends but not mates. I guess I'll get right on into it because this was another big topic for me, big thing for me before coming over here because I've never had to enroll in a different school quite like this where everyone already knows each other and I'm just coming in and I'm the new kid versus coming in like your first year and everybody is new. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are new along with you. I'm coming into this university, City University, being the new person. So that if the people that I talk to, my coworkers especially, know this. Um, they know that that was a source of concern for me, making friends and all that stuff. So that's why this is important. So let me get straight into it because it's already a minute and a half. So I was in my reporting class. Yes, reporting. I get news report. I get features, reporting, and radio all confused. They're all three parts of the same class, but I get the three parts confused. So I was in reporting, and the teacher was talking about the different ways that you can get ideas for stories. And one of the ways he said was with social networking, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And he said, well, it's a good way because so many people use it and they put so much out there, but the problem potentially is that you can't really rely on those people for good leads because, for example, you have all these friends on Facebook, but how many of them can you actually talk to? How many of them would you feel comfortable writing and commenting on their stuff? And the phrase he used was, on social networks, you have friends but no mates. I'm going to pull this down because I don't have enough headroom and it's bothering me. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. So, you have a whole bunch of friends, thousands of friends, but no mates. And what he meant by mates was like closer friends, people that you actually feel comfortable talking to, people that you actually talk to. Granted, I've heard the phrase mate be used toward me by people in the checkout line. How you doing, mate? So, buddy, it means the same as buddy, or it means the same as close friend. I feel like most people have heard that phrase, but those of you who haven't, small, quick definition. So, he said that, and it's true. It's very true. Now, beside me was a guy classmate, who's Palestinian. He doesn't come into the store right now, but he does later, so I need to introduce him now. So we went through the class, and we're talking about the patch reporting. I think I talked about that last week sometime, where you have the extremely, extremely local, hyper-local reporting on your small community that's literally maybe blocks, street blocks. It's really not large at all. So that's what the class is about. So after that, I had a 30-minute break between uh, reporting and my radio class. And the radio class is 3 hours long, and I was dreading it, but had to go. So when I left reporting, I went and got a nice, tasty meal. Lamb and potatoes. It was really tasty. So, but I got it takeaway, and I found myself trying to decide if I wanted some extra chicken because it came in a little small container. But then the chicken line was real long, and I could not wait in line. I did not feel like waiting in line, so I went and got a drink. And I was back and forth. I really was just walking around with no purpose, as they say. Um, and I was kind of mad that all the lines were long, but it was lunch hour. But in retrospect, I'm glad the lines were long because I was walking back to where I was for my last class, the radio class was down the hall from the reporting class. I was walking back, and I decided to take the long way because I didn't really want to take that set of stairs that was near me, and I ran into my Palestinian classmate, and he spoke to me, and I didn't see him. And I looked up and spoke, and I was like, "Oh, hey!" And I wanted to talk to him not way back, but before now, because it just seemed like he had an interesting story being here in school straight from Palestine. And Palestine is definitely a place that we in America hear about being like an awful place, and that terrorism is abound everywhere. And you're gonna walk into your hotel, and the hotel's gonna go up in flames from a terrorism. It just, if you're American, you know. So I really, really want to talk to him, but I'm not one to just go up and start talking to people like that. Usually when I do, it works out, but it takes a lot of gumption. So it's funny that we ran into each other on this hallway right by a sofa. So we sat down and had lunch together, and we were talking about different things. He was talking about what it was like to come from Palestine, and the I guess the difficulties of being, as he put it, occupied by Israel. And I know Israelis would probably disagree. And that's a big discussion. I have to admit, I always get sort of on edge when I talk to someone that's Israeli or Palestinian, because I feel like I don't want to say the wrong thing to offend them, because I know that's an extremely hot topic and has been for a long time. So I don't necessarily like getting into that. But he was cool and everything, and just talking about different things. And I was telling him about America, he was telling me about Palestine. It was absolutely great. And I just feel like it was one of those things that everything lined up. God lined everything up for. Now I'm a believer that a lot of encounters are already planned out. God has it already straightened out. And that just seemed like one of them, because it just so happened that the line got really long, really quick at the chicken stand. And I checked back, it was still long. And at the soda, where I got my soda, I ended up having to count my money. I was pulling out the wrong coins. Everything just fell in place. And then the other thing is, how is it that we passed each other right by a sofa and we both had lunch? Just different things like that. So we're talking, and we also had radio together. So we watched radio together, and we kept talking. And when we got into the lobby, he said to me, "Well, I've been wanting to ask you this." And I said, "Well, what is it?" Because in my mind, I'm like, you say I've been wanting to ask you this, usually something fairly big. At least it is when I do it. He said, "Have you found it hard to make friends?" And I said, "Well, kind of, sort of. Not real hard, but it's difficult when you come in, everyone knows everybody, and then you're also in a place in like a big city. So people tend to be less friendly in bigger cities. We see it. I see it when I go to New York. I see it when I go to DC. People just tend to be less friendly because they have a place to go, people to meet, things to do, and talking to this stranger is out of the way. And I noticed it at the university. People don't really talk. I've noticed that they don't. A lot of people don't just start up random conversation. I don't see it happening. I'm sure someone will probably watch this and staunchly disagree, but these are my experiences only. So that was a big cultural difference getting used to. Everyone's on a mission here. Everyone's on a mission. So you go on the radio, and we had this assignment to go out and interview people, like man on the street interviews, and I was dreading it because I know that people are very, I got to go, got to go, got to go. So I went out, and I did get 2 interviews. I did get 2, but these people rejected me because they claimed they had to go. So, and everyone just looked so tuned out to the world. like I'm walking around. I know if I were at home, if I were walking around with these big, huge headphones and an audio recorder, someone would probably stop and ask me first, "What are you doing? What are you?" But not here. I mean, anything goes. There's a lady talking to herself walking down the sidewalk. I don't know what she was saying because I had on my headphones, but I stopped my music to listen to her talk to herself. Everyone else just paid her no attention. So everyone's on a mission, and that's one, and I guess that's an overarching thing too. That everyone's on a mission here, and people don't tend to try to talk to each other. They're just in their own little worlds, and I guess that's just big city life. But it just made me think back to what my classmate was saying about how everyone's in their own world at university and how people don't like to branch out, which I've noticed. But it's coming. It's coming. It's a process. I always say it's a process. And thankfully, I'm an only child, so I don't mind too much being by myself. But um, yeah. But it's been going well. It's been going well. Been meeting people, all these experiences, and all these blogs. But side note, as I bring it to close out this whole day of mates and friends, mates versus friends, I ended up Skyping a friend or a mate, actually. I would say he's more of a mate than a friend at this point. Hopefully he doesn't see this and disagree, but hopefully if so, I won't know about it. Anyway, um, and that was unexpected, and it was good. One of the people that I've been trying to catch since I got here, and could not catch him to save my life. If my life depended on me catching him, I would probably be dead. So glad I got to talk to him. So that was the short message that I guess I don't know. There wasn't really a big message to it, I guess, but just a story, a funny thing that happened that caused me to think about things and think about our encounters and how not so random they may or may not be. So anyway, going to try to explore this weekend. Probably going to try to take some pictures, and I'll probably post them and talk to you all later. In the meantime, I'm praying for you, and please pray for me, and I'll talk to y'all later.